today on the G Spot experience. We are running a little late because I said 10:15 yesterday because I had a special guest. But hold on, let me connect my Instagram so they can tune in also. Okay, I think it might be recording. All right. So I wanted to invite, I had a special guest coming into the studio today, but I did get a call this morning. He stated that he was not able to make it today because he had something that came up at the last minute. But don't worry, he will be here tomorrow at 10:15 in the studio so we can discuss credit, financial literacy, as well as if you have a business and you need to generate business credit. We're going to talk about all that. Or if you just someone that you have a desire, you want to start a business, we're going to talk about that too. So thank you for chiming in today, but I need you to make sure you're back tomorrow so you can be with us in the conversation of dealing with credit. If it's not yours, it may be somebody else you know. But today, let's get into the G Spot experience with your girl, Germaine. I wanted to talk to you on this coffee break. First, I need to make sure you got your coffee. I started my workout. Yesterday was day one, today's day two, and I tried not to get the coffee. But I kept waking up with a headache this morning. So I said, what? I have to slowly ease my way out of this. So today I got my coffee. So not sure what you're drinking, if it's tea, if it's coffee, if it's juice, if it's smoothies, whatever it may be, just make sure you have yours. So today, on today's coffee break, let's talk about today's brew, living your truth, whatever that may be. So, our motto, we're going to take a pause and we're going to pour in a purpose. But let's get into this. Living your truth, whatever that may be. Freedom comes when you stop living for the applause and start living for your assignment. Authenticity is alignment. Let me say that again. Authenticity is alignment. Today, we unpack the courage it takes to walk through your truth. Let me say, we unpack the courage it takes to walk your truth unapologetically. All right, so what does this all mean? You know, for those that's going to be chiming in, like I said, this is about living your truth, whatever that may be. And what that is for me, when I get on here, all I can talk about is my own personal experiences or some encounters I may have had with others, and I've gotten life lessons out of that. But at the end of the day, this is something, if anything that I've gone through that can shed a light on anyone else that's out there listening, or if it's something that you can learn from and walk away with, then you know what? So be it. We live our lives, we think it's for ourselves, but it's not. You may have heard the statement of our testimonies is for someone else, pretty much. Is to uplift, to encourage, to empower someone else. They say our mess becomes our mission, our ministry. But in life, you know, when we choose to walk authentically in our truth, whatever that may look like for anyone that's out there that's listening, that's watching, what is your truth? Are you hiding it? Are you afraid to expose it? What is it? Um, I have to stop saying too. I keep consciously catching myself saying so please forgive me as I get through this, it will start disappearing. It's a safety, a security word that I lean on, but I'm more conscious about it even when I play these lives back. But what is your truth? Are you living in your truth, whatever that may be? So let me think about me, right? Because like I said, these are for me. but hopefully others can connect and relate to it when I do these coffee breaks. It's about me building a community, giving a platform so people's voices can be heard. That's always been my mission. It's been my mission even for my publishing company, giving a platform so your stories can be brought to life so they can be heard by the world. So as I live in my truth, sometimes it's the hardest thing to do because you know what? When you look in the mirror and you have to see yourself, are you 100% honest with you? Or do you have a mask on? Are you, walking around with this facade like you got it all together, but you're really breaking inside, you're crying, you're crumbling, trying to figure out this thing called life? What is your truth? I want you to think about that question. I want you to really think about that question. But then at the end of the day, I talked about stop living for the applause and start living for your assignment. Are you someone that's motivated by the attention from others? Because that can be false. And eventually, it could be disappointing when people start applauding you. And now you're looking for, let's look at an example. I like looking at different industries, coming out of the music industry for like 20 plus years managing artists and really seeing them rise and shine and get to the pinnacles that they may ascend to. My only concern is, and it's always being open and honest with them, with artists, is what do you do when the lights aren't shining on the stage anymore? The spotlight's not on you anymore. What do you do? There's a lot of people that are lost because they identify themselves with the thing that they do. So if you're an entertainer, if you're an athlete, whatever it is that you do, if you identify yourself and think that's your whole life, your whole being, I need you to pause and I need you to really think about that. And I need you, we talked about pressing reset yesterday, but I need you to really look at I am not defined by the thing that I do, my abilities and my skills. You're not defined by that. So then what does one do when the crowd isn't cheering anymore? Where do they go? How do they get up every morning? Because a lot of time that becomes your motivation to get up every morning to keep striving to what? Make the audience happy so you can get those applauses. But when the lights go out and you're sitting in the darkness all by yourself, what's your thoughts? Some people take it to the extreme. They don't know how to live outside of the applause, which means that you have to redefine who you are. And that could be hard. So I don't know why I'm going in this direction. I guess this message is about the experiences that I've encountered with others that have, being able to work with some of the heavyweights, DMX, being one. The locks, when I worked in the industry, having the opportunity to work to really see their careers just thrive and get to levels that only some can imagine. But you have to figure out life after, what happens after, because you can't always stay on top. So what's your B plan? And this causes one to really do some soul searching within oneself, is to look at, who am I? I'm not defined by just my talents. I'm not defined by my job. What makes you you? And then what are those things that you can discover within yourself to be able to really see, where do I pivot to next? Once this door closes, another one hopefully will open for you if you're open to it. But some people find themselves stuck. That's a dangerous place because then you're always living for what was and you're robbing yourself of your life for what can be. I want to say that again. If you find that you are stuck in a place because you don't know how to pivot from the place that you once knew, the fame, the applause, and now you have to really see, where do I go from here? There's a lot of people in this place. You have to stop and see, my life is more than that. I'm bigger than that. So then I want you to start looking inward about those little things that matter so much, even as you were influencing others, or even as people were gravitating to you. Some things are the essence of your being and they will never change. You just got to discover. So sometimes remove you got to remove those rose colored glasses from your eyes sometimes so you can see clearly. Now, I don't know. These I have on are readers. And I tell you, my eyes used to be 20/20. But once I started wearing readers because I'm on a computer all day long, now it's like I can't see without them. So I have to see them so they can magnify what's in front of me, right? So, what I want you to do, if you find yourself in a place not living in your truth, and you find that you are stuck, I want you to take a pause and reset, to really do an inward journey of who you were, starting from your youth to where you are. Because in life, don't get stuck with, you've hit certain levels that you think is always going to be that. Don't get stuck there. And then also know that sometimes in life we stumble into places, our gifting, our talents, or just opportunity when the doors open and you were wise enough to walk through the door at that time, an opportunity presented itself and you took advantage of it. But always know there's always an ending somewhere. Things don't last forever. So, what are you going to do when you're in that moment in time and you find that everything is lined up and you are excelling in that space? What are you going to do when the walls start closing in, the doors start closing? Think about you. You are always the core of everything that you do. You. So, think about, how do I pivot from here? Or start looking, when you pay attention to your surroundings, to things that's happening. And I'm saying that, pay attention, always be aware, always be alert, because you can miss the signs that are letting you know a shifting is coming. And so pay attention. And sometimes you got to close some of the noise out of your ears, because remember, if you're someone, celebrity status, sports athlete, whatever it may be, in business, and you see your star is rising, and you always got people that want to hitch on to you for whatever their purpose and their means are. Always remember, you will always be self wherever you go. So be true to you. And I say, live in your truth. Be true to you. Don't get so hyped up. Don't let people gas you up. Don't let your ego start making decisions for you that will take you in a whole different direction, that will cause you more pain than good. And if you see, a lot of that is happening in the industry, in the news. People are letting their egos drive them into their destiny. But the problem with that is, and this will be a whole nother coffee break, that I have on egos. But the problem with that is, you will get lost and you may not be able to recover. So if you are 100% honest with yourself, and I always say, you know what? Take your power back, because if you're honest with yourself, the enemy cannot have the power over you when you walk in your truth. When you walk in your truth, what can they say? You owning it. Own yourself. You're owning it. So they can't say anything that you haven't already exposed, right? So once again, in this message, um, once again, today's brew, living your truth, whatever that may be for you. I've said a lot in this discussion, but I just want you to remember, freedom comes when you stop living for the applause and start living your assignment. Figure out what that is, your assignment. Okay. And remember, it's bigger. You are bigger than the work that you do. Because once the work is finished, you're still here, which means there's more work for you to do, right? So you're bigger than the talent that you possess, because you are the one that's performing the talent. So start seeing yourself in a different light and know that you are purpose for something on this earth. And remember, don't get it twisted. Purpose is not talents. Okay. So authenticity is alignment. And the courage it takes to walk in your truth, be unapologetic about it. So thank you again for tuning into the G Spot experience with your girl Germaine. And this was today's brew. Living your truth, whatever that may be. So if you want to find out more information about us, just tune in or drop me an inbox. You can actually hit me up, leave a message. I would love to connect with you. We're building a community here. I want to know what you want to talk about. What are those things that's on your mind? What are some discussions we can bring to the table? Do you want to join me in the studio? Come join me in the studio so then we can have this conversation together with everyone out there. And I just want to say hello, Dr. Von Brand. Thank you for chiming into this live coffee break. Dr. Von Brand is another one of my number one best-selling authors with her first book out the gate. So I know she's working on book two, and we look forward to being a publishing partner with her on that. But thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, I cannot stress it enough. Live in your truth, whatever that may be for you. So tune in tomorrow. Remember, we do have our guest speaker coming in tomorrow, and it's all going to be about how do we advance in this credit world, building that credit. Okay. See you soon. Thank you so much. Keep chiming in, keep sending your messages. Let me know how we're doing here. All right. I appreciate you all, and I see you tomorrow on our coffee break. Bye bye now.